Top 100 Most Unbelievable Goals in Football History. Football has produced millions of goals over the years, but only a handful leave fans speechless. These are the strikes that seemed impossible, the moments that defied logic, and the goals replayed for decades. Welcome to our countdown of the 100 most unbelievable goals in football history. From outrageous long-range screamers to gravity-defying bicycle kicks, every goal on this list earned its place through pure brilliance. Let's begin with number 100. 100, Cristiano Ronaldo vs Arsenal, 2009. We start our countdown with one of the most powerful long-range goals football has ever witnessed. It was the semi-final of the UEFA Champions League. Standing nearly 40 yards from goal, most players would have looked for a pass. But not Cristiano Ronaldo. He took a few steps back, struck the ball with incredible force, and unleashed what looked more like a missile than a football. The ball dipped and swerved through the air at terrifying speed before crashing into the top corner. Arsenal goalkeeper Manuel Almunia barely reacted. By the time he moved, the ball was already in the net. The Emirates Stadium fell silent, while Manchester United players celebrated a goal that has become one of the greatest free-flowing strikes in Champions League history. It wasn't just the distance. It was the speed, the movement, and the confidence to even attempt such a shot on one of football's biggest stages. And that's why it earns the number 100 spot. 99, Dennis Bergkamp vs Newcastle United, 2002. Some goals are powerful. Others are beautiful. This one was pure genius. Receiving the ball just inside the penalty area with his back to goal, Dennis Bergkamp seemed trapped by defender Nikos Debizas. Then came a moment nobody expected. With a single touch, Bergkamp spun the ball around the defender while turning in the opposite direction. In one movement, he completely wrong-footed his marker, collected the ball on the other side, and calmly slotted it past the goalkeeper. Even today, fans struggle to explain exactly how he managed it. The move was so elegant that it looked almost impossible in real time. It remains one of the smartest goals ever scored in the Premier League. 98, Zlatan Ibrahimović vs England, 2012. Some players score bicycle kicks. Zlatan Ibrahimović scored one from over 30 yards. Late in an international friendly, England's goalkeeper rushed far outside his box to clear the ball. His header only traveled as far as Ibrahimović. Most players would have controlled it. Zlatan had a different idea. Without hesitation, he launched himself into the air with his back to goal and struck an outrageous overhead kick from an unbelievable distance. The ball sailed through the night sky before dropping perfectly into the empty net. Players on both teams simply stood there in disbelief. The crowd erupted. Commentators screamed. It wasn't just one of the greatest bicycle kicks ever scored, it was one of the greatest goals football has ever seen. It even earned the FIFA Puskas Award. 97, Roberto Carlos vs France, 1997. Physics said this goal shouldn't have gone in. But Roberto Carlos had other plans. Brazil won a free kick from almost 35 yards out. The angle was extremely wide, making a direct shot seem impossible. Carlos blasted the ball with the outside of his left foot. For several seconds, it appeared to be flying well wide of the post. Then, unbelievably, the ball curved sharply back towards goal at the very last moment. France goalkeeper Fabien Barthez stood frozen. The ball crashed into the side netting. Scientists later studied the strike to understand how it moved through the air. Very few goals have ever challenged the laws of physics quite like this one. 96, Lionel Messi vs Getafe, 2007. Every football fan immediately saw the comparison. Picking up the ball inside his own half, a young Lionel Messi accelerated towards goal. One defender. Then another. Then another. Players threw themselves into desperate tackles, but Messi danced past every challenge with unbelievable balance and close control. He entered the penalty area, rounded the goalkeeper, and calmly finished from a tight angle. The goal looked remarkably similar to Diego Maradona's legendary solo effort at the 1986 World Cup. The run covered over 60 meters and featured one of the greatest dribbling displays football has ever witnessed. It announced to the world that a new superstar had truly arrived. 95, Wayne Rooney vs Manchester City, 2011. Manchester derbies are known for drama, but nobody expected to witness one of the greatest goals in Premier League history. With the score level late in the game, a cross floated awkwardly into the penalty area. It seemed slightly behind Wayne Rooney, making it almost impossible to connect cleanly. Most strikers would have tried to control the ball. Rooney chose the spectacular. He launched himself into the air and produced a perfectly timed bicycle kick. His body was almost horizontal as his right foot connected beautifully with the ball, sending it flying into the top corner. Goalkeeper Joe Hart didn't even move. For a split second, the entire stadium fell silent before Old Trafford exploded in celebration. The goal won Manchester United the derby and instantly became one of the most iconic moments in Premier League history. 94, James Rodríguez vs Uruguay, 2014 FIFA World Cup. Some World Cup goals are memorable. This one became legendary. Receiving a high pass just outside the penalty area, James Rodríguez controlled the ball perfectly with his chest. Before it could touch the ground, he unleashed a stunning left-footed volley. The shot smashed against the underside of the crossbar before bouncing into the net. The goalkeeper had absolutely no chance. The entire stadium erupted as Rodríguez celebrated one of the greatest goals ever scored at a FIFA World Cup. The strike earned him the FIFA Puskas Award and introduced the Colombian star to football fans across the globe. 93, Son Heung-min vs Burnley, 2019. Sometimes, the most unbelievable goals begin deep inside your own half. After collecting the ball just outside Tottenham's penalty area, Son Heung-min started running. And he kept running. He accelerated past one defender. Then another. Then another. Burnley players desperately chased him, but nobody could catch him. Covering nearly the entire length of the pitch in just seconds, Son entered the penalty area with remarkable composure before calmly sliding the ball beyond the goalkeeper. From one end of the field to the other, it was a breathtaking solo goal showcasing pace, balance, and incredible determination. It was later voted the Premier League goal of the season. 92, Ronaldinho vs Chelsea, 2005. There are goals that make defenders look helpless. Then there are goals that confuse everyone watching. This was one of them. Standing just outside the penalty area with defenders closing him down, Ronaldinho barely seemed to move. Without taking a backlift, he suddenly flicked the ball with the outside of his foot. The shot curled unexpectedly toward goal. Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech reacted far too late. The ball nestled perfectly into the bottom corner. Even slow-motion replays couldn't fully explain how Ronaldinho generated so much power with almost no movement. It was football artistry at its finest. 91, Gareth Bale vs Liverpool, 2018 UEFA Champions League Final. Champions League finals are where legends are made. Gareth Bale needed just minutes after coming off the bench. A high cross floated into the penalty area. With his back to goal and defenders surrounding him, Bale launched himself into the air. He executed a sensational overhead kick that flew beyond goalkeeper Loris Karius and into the top corner. Players from both teams simply stood there, stunned by what they had witnessed. Scoring a bicycle kick is difficult. Scoring one in a Champions League final is almost unimaginable.